Good afternoon, everybody. It's Anthony Sassine with a new episode of Moderate Rep. Let's get to it. So, let's begin. Some sad stories coming out of Mexico yesterday. A family of 9 were killed, 9 Mormons, and they were all North Americans. They were Americans. So, there is a question, a debate that's being held right now about, what should we do if we should do anything in the first place. Obviously, people do not want to interfere, don't want interference in Mexico. People don't want our soldiers on the ground, and that's understandable. But at the same time, I feel like, you know, we need to send a message. You do not mess with Americans. You do not mess with United States citizens, regardless of where you are. Um, and I know that's a tough one because what do you do? You obviously don't want the president to send troops on the ground. However, I think he should to a degree. Um, but then the last thing you want is another Iran and another endless war like we do in the Middle East. However, this would not be the first time that a president would use military interference or interjection in Mexico. In fact, he would probably be the fourth or fifth. Um, so it's tough. There's fundamental questions about the protections of United States citizens, um, whether it be home or abroad. Um, so someone asked me, "What do you think we should do?" And I said, "I don't know." To be honest with you, I have no clue because I don't want to put mass troops on the ground, but I don't think this should go without anything. And I mean, what am I going to do? Put sanctions on Mexico for cartel violence? I think a group, a squad should go in and take out those men. But then there's a harsher reality that comes after that. Usually especially when you deal with cartels, is when you get rid of some, there's this power vacuum that would create more violence. So at the end of the day, would that make us safer? I don't know. So it's one of those where justice isn't justice. And unfortunately, because of this situation, it might be that justice won't even prevail at all. In fact, those that family of 9 might have died for nothing. I mean, they did die for nothing, but they would have died in vain. And that's an unfortunate reality when we're dealing with the political uh, response that comes with this. The political reality and the reality on the ground. So, you know, the president's offered to send in our military to help Mexico with the cartel issue. Of course, Mexico has said no. So at that point, what can we do really? Do we interject or we let it go? Hopefully, we can find a solution that's probably somewhere in the middle. A solution that suits this issue. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this will only become a greater issue as we move forward. I can guarantee that. So, that's just an unfortunate reality of the world we live in. Especially around border areas. It's not safe, and it just is what it is, unfortunately. So, also in other news, last night was election night across the country. Here in Texas, all the amendments that we wish passed, especially Amendment 4, protecting our taxes, or our money, keeping some of that money. Everybody loves, having a little extra change at the end of the day. Who wouldn't? And so Texas keeps on fighting that good fight, proving that the people are intelligent. um, However, across the country there was a small blue wave of sorts, and people are nervous. Now, the Dems think that this can carry them to 2020. I don't. Mostly because look at the candidates that they're pushing. The Dems think that they're actually going to win 2020. Hold up. Insert some laughing gif here. Yeah, that's it's funny to me. It really is, you know. But hey, the Dems did have a good night last night, so for that you do have to give them credit. But they also outspent almost every other person they were going against. So correlation, maybe as Republicans we need to start spending more money, especially in these districts where we really can't afford to lose. So that's another reality that we have to deal with. But I genuinely don't believe that this will spell out anything conclusive to whether the president will be reelected next year. In fact, I think the fact that they started these impeachment inquiries and proceedings, I think you'll realize that a lot more people will vote red. People that usually wouldn't, only because they feel like this president's just being attacked since the moment he was elected into office. In fact, as soon as he was sworn in, there was multiple articles saying the time for impeachment starts now. So I think the American people are tired. I think they're sick of this. You know, they're just. I think the people are tired. So I think that will either lead them to go completely one way or another. If they reelect Trump, then I think the media will realize, you know what, we've lost this. I think they'll come to a more sure conclusion that the people have voted, the people have spoken, the people want to see what this president can do with actual power. Um, but at the same time, all this media coverage on the president could also lead some people to vote blue just to not hear about it anymore. And I think that is a dangerous reality not a lot of people are addressing. Um, whether it be distrust in the media or whether it just be sick of hearing from the media about this particular person and subject and everything in between. So there is a interesting question. What are the people sick of more? The disdain the media has on this president, or just the president and hearing about him all the time? I think it's a interesting question, and I think we'll have a definitive answer in a year. So we have a year to figure it out, and it'll be interesting. Come election time, it'll be fun. It'll definitely be fun. But I do believe, in my heart of hearts, that the president wins again. Um, I'm I'd venture to say probably in a landslide. Yeah, I know. It's quite a crazy thought, but at the same time, I think it's one that is shared across the country. I think more and more people are getting tired of this. Uh, I think people want to see what this president can do. So let's see. Uh, but yes, that's all I have for today, folks. And hopefully you agree. If not, feel free to comment, like, and share, subscribe, and all everything in between. And have yourself a freaking good day.